Well, hey everybody, welcome to Ellis Mowers. It's just nasty weather here on this day, and don't really have a lot of energy, and don't feel like working on the other bigger projects that I've got. More importantly, I'm waiting on parts, so I'm gonna have plenty of time to fix these before the parts come, or I can only do so much before the parts arrive. So until they arrive, I got a smaller project to do. I actually got a couple of, they're not twins, they're brothers, so to speak. A couple of Homelite HT series trimmers, hedge trimmers, gas powered. These are, I don't know how old they are. I've been looking. I think this one's the older one of the two, and this one is the younger one of the two. It's interesting because you look between the two. HT17, this just means it's a 17-inch hedge trimmer. This is a 19-inch. This 19-inch looks basically brand new. I paid $25 for the pair. I usually don't even bother with two-cycle stuff unless it is so cheap that it's just, you know, cheap, as opposed to I'm not going to lose anything on them. I know gas hedge trimmers seem to go a little bit more than, say, weed eaters and whatnot, so I'm hoping to get about $80 for this one. This one is fixed already. All I'd had to do was put a new primer bulb and fuel lines in it. The primer bulb actually, I believe, goes to a Zama carburetor, but it still works perfectly fine with this Walboro. And I saw they had Walboro carburetors. I'm like, oh, I got a chance with this one. So this video is going to concentrate mostly on basically the exact same thing, as you can see. Mostly we're going to put some fuel lines and such in this one to see if we can get it running right. As you can see, I got to clean out the tank and get all that rubber mess and probably put a new fuel filter and such in it. But hopefully this thing will make a liar out of me. But I'm going to show you that this the HT19 runs. Again, they were left with no gas in the tank, which is good. The fuel lines are basically rotted on it, so I could shorten this fuel line up here, which I probably will do. I just put it on. I can't show you if I don't have it in front of the camera. I'm going to shorten this fuel line up a little bit, which really isn't that difficult, but I'll show you that it runs real quick. I'm not even going to prime it. It'll probably start on choke. Let's see if they've got me. There we go. Let's see, in the on position. And I let it sit overnight, so. Only thing is, you gotta let it warm up. And I don't really know enough about the low and the high side stuff. Just let it warm up a little bit. So I'll take that and crank it back up. So I've already made my money back, and excuse me, blowing smoke everywhere now. I've already made my money back and then some on that. Wow, I smoked up the whole garage. So we're going to do the same thing with the 17 as we did the 19. Shouldn't be too difficult. I got 3 feet of fuel line here. We probably don't need even 8 inches of it. First thing I'm going to do, empty out the crud in the tank. Got a little bit more crud down there. I'm going to get that out. Here's the condition of the fuel filter. I have another fuel filter here, actually multiple ones. That will work beautifully with this. This one's a little gummed up, so let's see. This one? Yep, that's basically a direct fit right there. So, fuel filter, ta-da, got the fuel line. This is as opposed to some of the ones that I have attempted to fix over the course of the past few months, this is a very simple setup. Very simple setup. You don't even have to remove any covers or anything, which is awesome. You can potentially remove this cover to make it a little bit easier to access the gas tank, but it's not bad at all. You have your, this is your, you put on this side the one that the fuel filter attaches to that goes into your inlet port on the carburetor, which is right there, and then your outlet port comes out right here and goes, you just route it back up to vent it back into the gas tank. So, I'm going to go ahead and prep up and we'll get started. Alright, so I shortened the fuel line on that. I actually got some residual fuel line remaining that I will probably use on this actually. So, the good news is, all you really need for this is a flathead or a Phillips head screwdriver, and what I like about these old 2 cycles is you get actual, like, you can fit a screwdriver in there to turn the adjustments. And what I like about this particular machine is everything is right here. You don't have to take any covers off to get to anything, which is amazing. This one is not in as good a shape as that 19-inch one. However, it still looks pretty darn good for what it is. It's got a couple of bent tines on it, but not terrible. So what I'm going to do, I can't really show it very well on camera. I'm just going to take those 4 screws off, and we're going to get that old primer bulb off first. Now the primer bulb is integral in this because this is one of those machines that it actually routes the gas through the primer bulb. Some of them that you get, especially like your run-of-the-mill Poland chainsaws that they sell nowadays, the primer bulb is actually separated, and I actually have a 43cc Poland chainsaw, the Durachrome engine or whatever it is on it, that the primer bulb shot on it, and all I do is pull the choke out, put some fuel mix in it, pull the choke out, knock it out, pull it out about 3 times, and it'll crank right up. Usually doesn't happen with the Poland chainsaw. I got kind of lucky with that one. I'll call that my first 2-cycle fix. But anyways, so here we go. We've gotten this piece off. As you can see, it's got like a little, almost like a turbine look to it, so it doesn't matter what way you put it back on, it's going to work either way. What I'm doing now, I'm cleaning off everything on the back side of this, just so I've got a good mating surface for the new primer bulb. Let me grab a rag. Save money on rags. You wear out your pair of pants. Just turn them into rags. How about that? Could go rags to riches like that. That's a terrible joke. But seriously, as long as it doesn't really matter in the long run, if you can save a dime here and save a dime there, especially when doing the small engine stuff, it goes a long ways. Goes a long ways. Just cleaning off that surface a little bit. Kind of like this. See, I'm not waiting a couple of days, and I haven't really needed any wall burr primer bulbs, but these are the I guess the newer, bigger primer bulbs that I guess they come on the Zamas. They'll actually work okay. You just kind of have to work it in there a little bit, especially in the back here. Just got to make sure that you get everything kind of pushed in on it. They will fit though. I put one on that 19-inch right over there. That's just off camera. They'll fit. They look a little, you know, like you've had a little bit too much to eat one night or something. But it works perfectly. Again, this type of engine, you probably don't need to prime it. But, like I mentioned, the primer bulb is part of the fuel system and is not separated like on some devices. So what we're going to do, when you screw this in, it'll actually mate to each side. And all the ports in the carburetor that I can see coming out to the primer bulb look clean. So we're just going to try this in some fuel line and see what happens with it. Let's see, I'll put these screws back in, thread them in. Obviously I worked on the other one first because it was nicer and cleaner, and I figured it would give the better shot of putting everything back together. Hopefully my head's not in the way. Better shot of running, you know what I mean? Just be careful putting these screws back in, especially with this bigger primer bulb. And you know, I don't mind the bigger primer bulb. Probably because it's going, in all truthfulness, is probably going to be better than the original primer bulb that came on it. Which this trimmer's date code, I couldn't figure out the date code on the other one, but the date code looks to say that's what you want right there. You want some I can feel it sucking air out, which is great. It's always a great sign. When I push the primer bulb, it's pushing air out down the bottom down there, which is perfect, which means it's sealed and working. Hopefully I don't have any leaks around there. And there's your inlet tube on this. And real quickly, while I'm thinking about it, let me show you the model number of this. That's a 18007A, and then the serial number HL2011293. I would guess that HL2 is like the serial number, and then the date code 011293, which means that I was a whopping 12 days old when this thing was made, if that holds true. I believe the other one's a little bit newer. I believe it's a mid to late 90s model. And one thing that's noted to be a little bit different is that this one says that it was made in the USA. And this newer one over here, I'll show you the model after I show you that it says it was crafted in the USA. They had to get fancy, but they're made. I'm North Carolina, so made relatively locally in Charlotte by Homelite Inc. HQ2150936. So I don't know how to decipher the date code on that. However, I think that it was probably a late 90s, early 2000s device. Not too much newer than this, but definitely newer. All right, let me cut some fuel line down. And again, let me show you the routing, and I'll show you how I put these in. It's really not terribly difficult to do. I think I've got enough fuel line right here. I can put it into the tank. I think so. Or could I possibly use this line to go around the top here? Oh, definitely. I can do that as well. I'll use that in that case. So let me grab the tools I need, and we'll feed some fuel line up. All right, so here we go with the fuel line. I'm going to see if I can make it a little bit closer and a little bit easier for y'all to see what I am doing here. All right, so hopefully y'all are watching this on decent sized screens. I'm going to clean up my mess here for a second. I'm going to grab some of my new fuel line. And one thing I'm thankful for, especially these old 2 cycles, like I said, I don't really like messing with 2 cycles very much because I don't have a lot of luck with them. But some of the new stuff uses this very small line. It's just horrendous to try and get onto the fuel filter and through the gas tank and all of that. So here's what we're going to start out by doing. I believe this is 0.190 fuel line. That's the line I got. You see it's relatively thick. It's exactly what I need for this application. What I'm going to do before I cut anything off is, I'll show you close up. What I usually do is I take some pliers and try and feed it through there. One trick I learned, and I can't for the life of me remember who I saw it on their YouTube, but you cut an angle off of the line. You could use these angle cutters, which don't do the best job, but they do a job. And so what that allows you to do is that allows you to at least get it started in the fuel tank. So I'm going to go on the left side here for the inlet, because I'm going to run this through the inlet to the carburetor, which I really need to clean out the inlet port real quick. If I can get the tool, I'm just using this. I'm going to clean out the inlet port right here, because it's a little gummed up. I don't want to have any issues with trash getting sucked down in there, or old fuel line or whatever. So that's relatively clean. I don't really want to spray carb cleaner down there if I don't have to. Alright, take that side. Oh, this was an angled side too, but I angled this side, so we'll go this side. And take some pliers. I love these angle nose pliers. I can usually just fit that angle nose down there and just kind of gently shove the line through. There's multiple ways to do this. You can use the angle pliers. You could use Sometimes I'll use a #1 Phillips to get it through too. It just kind of depends on the day, and that day is today. We'll roll with the #1 Phillips because I can feed that through there. We're almost there. This is a delicate process. Might have to forego trying to make it camera pretty to try and do this. But let's see. Let's see. This is always the hardest part about it. I've done so many of these, it doesn't really frustrate me anymore. But it's like, why don't you just go through there? And the reason why it's so tight is so that you can fill up the tank and not have any issues with it, you know, leaking through and such. So I understand that from that angle. Let's see. Yeah, it did the trick, I think. Something did. Here's where these pliers come in handy. You can get down in here and actually like grab the grab the hose. I say this all the time. I'm going to try this one more time. If I don't get it this time, I'm just going to cut the camera and I'll show you the finished setup, or show you after I get it through, one and the two, whatever y'all want to see. Some of y'all want to see everything. Some of y'all want to see, some of y'all are just like, cut to the chase. There we go. Alright, so this line has the fuel filter attached to it. So we're going to pull out the line out of the tank, probably give it about that much. We can always put more in it if we need to. So new fuel filter. It costs like, you can get them online probably for 10 of them for like $1. I mean, they're ridiculously cheap. This one has a little spring action on it, so I'm going to make sure the spring stays on it as we put it onto the trimmer. And I don't know exactly what that does. I guess it almost acts like a little fuel clamp. And the goal is exactly what it just did. So pop it down there. You see it's resting at the bottom of the tank. The tank actually is deeper at that portion as well. So you kind of want it, if the tank is not even on the bottom, have it in the deeper portion so that it picks up the gas the best. And now I'm going to take it and cut the line about right here. I'm literally just going to pop the line onto the inlet valve, or the inlet tube for the carburetor, which is much easier than having to try and slide it through the tank. So I know you can't see this because the air filter's in front of it, but I'm just sliding it onto that intake tube. Make sure it's down there, maybe, you know, to where it's not going to come off easy. It doesn't have to be down there like insanely far, but it needs to be down there far enough. So sometimes I'll use the pliers to help me out in that aspect too. Just to push it down some. Again, you don't want to still not down there as far as I want to. I might pull it out a little bit so I can get a little bit more leverage on it. Again, I apologize that y'all can't see what I'm doing. Literally just trying to push the fuel line down. Probably good enough. We'll call that good. I can't pull it. I can't pull it out. If you can pull it out, then you got it way too loose. Or not on there tight enough. All right, now second line. I'm obviously not very expedient at doing this. Second line is simple. Same deal. Push the angle. Put the angle on the pliers. Oh, I'm going to use this other line for that because it's already cut the length. Make an angle. On it best you can so that you can pop it in. I always suggest popping it in the tank first, especially if you're going to cut the line. I'm going to hit the screwdriver here. Tricky part about this is trying to go around the case. You can take this case off if you need to, but I am not going through that venture because I can get around it and I don't want to be causing more problems than I already have with this, which hopefully is not many, but you never know. There we go. I think we got it in there. Now this is just the vent line, so you don't really need to push it in very far. You just got to make sure I mean, it's in there, it's just not, well, maybe it was. You don't have to push it in there very far. I'll tell you what, I'll spare y'all this. Basically, just push the fuel line in, route it down to here, and you're good. So that's what I'm going to do. I'll show you the finished product. We'll put gas in it and see if it runs. Alright, so I don't know if y'all can see the setup in there, but there's the vent tube. Fuel filter down there on the bottom of the tank. Tank was very clean apart from those deteriorated pieces of rubber. New primer bulb. Sounds like it's priming. So what I'm going to do, throw a little bit of gas in it. Fuel mix. I usually run 40 to 1. That usually does what I need it to do. As long as we're not leaking fuel anywhere, we're going to be good. Alright, so I took the ground wire off of it too. Where can I put this? Interesting. Let me see where it is on the other one. Okay. So the ground wire is grounded right here. For some reason they took that ground wire off. So what I'm going to do very quickly here. Oh, they took the bolt out, darn it. Let me source another bolt that goes right here. I'm going to put this ground wire back on so I can actually turn it off properly. I don't have to put it in between the frame like I'm doing here, but I might do that just for, well, no. Let me get the proper hardware, fix this, and I'll come right back. All right, moment of truth. I put the ground wire back on as it looked on the other trimmer, priming it up. Oops, I had my hand over the. I'm going to prime it about 5 or 6 times just to get the gas through there. I probably flooded it. The choke is this way. Shoot. Let's just sit right here and see if we can start it. Instead of trying to crank our eyes out laying down. Let's see if we can get it right here. Sounds like it wants to. Let's check for spark. Let's see. Flashlight. See if I can see how bad, if there's any scoring in the cylinder wall down here. Let's see. Not that I can tell. Doesn't seem bad. It doesn't seem like it's got bad compression or anything. Spark plug might just need a little cleaning on it. Let's see. I had to do a little bit of finicking with the 19-inch one. See if it would work. or not. Let's see what we got here. Oh gosh, that spark is super strong. That's awesome. Put the plug back in. We still got a fuel delivery issue somewhere. I think I just gotta, might just have to adjust the jets and such on the, or the low and the high speed. Wow, I'm thinking of push mower stuff. Ride mower stuff. I think I just gotta adjust the low speed and the high speed some. I think we're gonna be alright. For kicks, sometimes me doing that does it. Okay, that's better than what we had. Better than what we had. What I did last time when this happened was I screwed in, let's see, both of the low side and the high side all the way. And it started on me. So that's better. Let me back out the low speed and the high speed a little bit. All right. We'll start over. Usually what happens is you gotta get these things perfect. Otherwise they will not run. So that purges all the other gas out. Just open it up just a smidge. Again, I am no professional on tuning 2-cycle carburetors. I'm just seeing what works. So I got to run it idle. Okay. I'll tell you what, y'all know it runs. I'm going to do a little bit more tuning on this thing. I'll let you know what I end up finding out, and we will hopefully have a 2 for 2 on hedge trimmers. This is a little bit loose here. I'm going to have to tighten these up a little bit. But I think we're going to have a good one. So let me work on the carburetor a little bit. I'll get back with y'all in just a second. Alrighty, y'all, I've been running this a little while, and let me show you. I feel like I got some sort of something loose up in the actual top end of the motor, which is kind of where the engine. See all that play right there? So I'm going to take this cover off and see what we have. The thing will run, the thing will run pretty good, all things considered. Looks like it's only 5 bolts, so that's easy. Or 5 screws. Hopefully we don't have to take the fuel line back out. Just seems like the whole... It almost looks like the whole intake is loose on it. 3, 4 in the front. Five on the side. It also keeps your throttle cable on. Just for kicks, let's see. So, interesting. Yeah, I've got one intake screw? Oh, there's a second one on the bottom down there. Let's show you what's going on. This intake screw's loose. You see it? So what I'm going to do... I've been in this before. See if I can just tighten it back up. Hopefully it's not wall it out. Be really careful because I don't want to strip the aluminum. There's another one down there on the bottom, but I can't get to it without taking a ton of stuff off. So let's see if that helps it out a little bit. Again, careful with your fuel lines and such. I'll put these 5 screws back on. I'll do that off camera since this video is getting a little lengthy, and we'll see if it runs any better. Alrighty, y'all. Got a pretty smoky garage. Itchy, watery eyes. But we're almost done with this thing. And I also tuned the 19-inch one a little bit more. That thing's running like a champ right now. I got an issue with the kill switch. Kill switch doesn't work, so we're going to take these screws off. I got it attached the way that it's attached on the other one, so I feel like I got it on properly. It may just be a bad switch. It could just be, well, we don't know. Let's see. Please don't tell me they have such small screws in there. Oh boy. Oh, I got one right here. We don't need a lot of access, we just need a little. That's enough. Ouch. So, let's see. They don't have them swapped. I know that. They're not swapped. The only thing I can think of is if I didn't put it on right up here. Let's see. For what it's worth, For what it's worth, I'm going to take this cover back off. Y'all have seen me take it off already. And we'll see where that other wire goes to. And we'll see if that fixes our grounding issue. So the inside of this has got to be going to the coil. Didn't take this off. However, you just pop the choke off and it turns right off. So it's like, you know, do you do that? Do you do this? Does the same thing. It'll start right back up. But let me show you. I'm going to start up. It'd be funny if I could like start up both of them. I might start one up, start the other up, and then I might start both of them up for you since y'all have endured this long video. Let's start with the 17. Takes a couple pulls after you choke it off, but and the 19. That's kind of cool. Made a good buy on these guys. I'm really happy with how these ended up turning out. I know this video is probably pretty lengthy, but I hope that y'all enjoyed seeing this one already fixed, but this one fixed as well. So obviously this one's going to bring a little bit more. This one's going to bring a little bit less. And I really don't know what they're valued at. I almost want to throw the 19 up for about 100 and throw that one up for 75 and see what happens. I don't want to undersell myself because I know these old Homelites are pretty are sought after. They have like a cult following. So again, I have $25 plus a $3 fuel filter and $5 worth of fuel line. I have $33 in the pair. I'll probably at least make 100 on them, on the pair that is. And so hey, why not, you know? Nice little Homelite trimmers with the Walboro carburetors. Both of them just needed fuel lines, some tuning, and they're good to go. I hope y'all enjoyed this video. You don't see a lot of 2-cycle stuff from me, but you know, get nice things in like this every once in a while. We'll fix them. But about done fixing Bolins and Poland and cheap Murray and all them other little cheap 2-cycle stuff. This is some good quality 2-cycle stuff here. So I appreciate y'all watching. You can catch me at Ellis Mowers 09 on Instagram and Facebook, and I'll see you on the next video.